Hey there roleplayers, rhaegar here for another video. Today's video is actually inspired by one of my players in the game that I'm running. And it was asked quite a while ago now, and unfortunately during the time of my dormancy on my channel. However, recent events in a Warhammer campaign that I'm involved in with a few fellow community members has sparked my memory to get on camera and talk about this subject. And this is it. Basically, one of my players came up to me after a game and was like, "Rhaegar, in role-playing games, characters can die. It happens." And I'm like, "Yes, of course." But he was like, "If my character dies, what happens?" And I went into the mechanical, side of things. That generally, not all the time, depends on the system, that character is no longer available to play, and you make a new one. Any equipment and experience is now lost, and that your journey with that character is over. However, he asked me another interesting question. Does that mean that the story that we were both trying to tell with that character is then over? Does the character have any kind of legacy he leaves behind? I found that a very interesting question. It made me think about how I run my campaign and what effect a character dying at a point in the campaign has. Because he asked me at a very critical time in the story that I'm trying to take my group through, that if he had died at that point, he didn't, in case you're wondering, he's fine, the character's still alive, that the group wouldn't find out a piece of information at the time that they could have, because he is the only one that could have known this, that found this out. It's tied into his story. So you could make the thing, make the accusation, Rhaegar, is that you've put too much of an emphasis on the character. You've put a very important story point on a character that is now gone. A linchpin of the plot possibly is going to be lost. And you're correct. My players, no doubtly, would make different decisions based on the lack of information even that they have, and would probably take a different direction. And I found this very interesting. I found that it made me reevaluate what I would do. And I was like, no, you know what? That character's story would still continue in a sense that the NPCs that were important to him would still be around. Events that he could have forestalled or had knowledge about would continue to happen. Now, I wouldn't stop the group from completely ever learning about these things. I would probably find another way around it so that these get a chance. But the legacy of him dying at that point is to change how the campaign would go. His story stuff would still happen. The things that he could have affected will still be present. And I found that really cool, that even a dead player or dead character, don't come up with players, when a dead character still has an effect on the story even when he's no longer being actively played. I found that really cool. Right? I think that's something that everyone should bear in mind when one of their characters is taken, cruelly or justly from their time on the whatever version of Earth or fantasy realm they're on. That they should leave something behind, and that should echo through the story. So yeah. I would love it if you guys would share any stories you have of how a dead character's plot kind of affected your campaign and changed things, messed things around, and what your thoughts on how a dead character's story should be used. Look forward to your responses, guys. Until next time.